Greetings. Welcome to my bungalow. Jimmy says hi. We're here for Volume 6 of How to Play Lead Guitar from Scratch. Last time we talked about the minor and major pentatonics and minor and major blues scale and the minor and major scale. So knowing that, we're going to get into modes today. There's a total of 7 modes. The minor scale is one of them. It's called the Aeolian mode. The major scale is the starting point because the intervals of the major scale are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every other scale is a deviation from that. The minor scale, my 1 is now A instead of C, is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, back to 8 again. So the next mode we're going to tackle will be we'll do the Dorian scale next. The Dorian is just like a minor scale, except it has a regular 6. When a lot of people, when they think about modes, they'll go crazy going, wait, which one was that? I can't remember. I just think about it in terms of how it deviates from a major or from a minor or from some other scale. Now there's a whole bunch of scales outside of the realm of modes, like harmonic minor, melodic minor, whole tone, couple of diminished scales, the half whole and the whole half diminished scales, a bunch of them. There's modes of the harmonic minor and melodic minor as well. They all have names, so there's a whole bunch of scales out there. And basically they're all using the chromatic scale and just choosing the notes they want to use. So that's how I look at it. I just play the chromatic scale. But in order to understand things better, here is how a Dorian works. It's 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, then I shift over here for a regular 6, flat 7, and then 1 again, 2 again, minor third again, 4, 5, a regular 6, again, that's the Dorian difference from a minor scale, flat 7, back to the 1. And I could play these notes too if I wanted to, so it's... Now there's some cool Dorian riffs like Jimmy Page in Heartbreaker used one where we went because he's playing those notes. Also now it's time to introduce a couple of Italian terms. All the terms in music except for the ones that we make up out here are Italian in nature. And staccato versus legato. Staccato, I could play this riff, picking every note. That would be more staccato. It's like dut 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 dut. Legato is long and smooth. Staccato is short and choppy. If you think about the name staccato, it sounds like a little snippet of a machine gun firing. Staccato. If I could say that 10 times really fast, it would sound like a machine gun. But I can't. So legato means long and smooth. So if you're going to do a legato run, you might want to use hammer-ons, let's say. Like if I'm ascending. It's a lot smoother than if I'm picking everything. Right, so this is a Dorian riff just to have fun with. It's going to be the same 6 notes in 3 octaves. So we're going to start on the 2nd fret of the low E string, which is an F sharp. It's going to be, fret numbers are going to be 2, 3, 5 on the low E and the A string. Then we jump up to 4, 5, 7 on the D and G strings. Then we jump up to 7, 8, 10 on the B and E strings. Now this is just an exercise to start getting some hammer-on legato kind of stuff down. There's a lot of ways to mix it up and make it sound more interesting. This is a good place to start. And it's also good to know that legato means long and smooth. And a lot of legato runs that people play are going to be hammer-ons and pull-offs. There might be some economy picking occasionally, like it's a sweep kind of picking. But mainly hammer-ons and pull-offs. Because there's no picking involved. Okay, so that's the Dorian scale. Now, if we want to find out what its relative major is, we play the same notes, but we just don't play the first 2 notes. So I start here and I play the same notes. Dorian's relative major scale is the Lydian scale. The Lydian scale is just like a major scale, but the fourth note or the fourth interval is sharped. So 1, 2, 3 instead of 4. Instead of like do, re, mi, fa, it's do, re, mi, really, fa. So, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So it goes like this. Sorry, I just screwed up. Is a really dreamy kind of scale. I'll do it in E for a second, so I can play little wind chime chords. You'll hear Steve Vai play a lot of Lydian stuff. Also, Zeppelin used it in, is this right? Yeah, they used it in one of their songs off of Led Zeppelin, the fourth album that has no name, Stairway to Heaven album. And it goes... And the intervals are 1, 5, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3. That's the Lydian scale. Lydian mode, scale, whatever. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to minor land, over here, A minor, and we're going to play the Phrygian scale. Phrygian is what flamenco players play, you know. What's interesting about flamenco music is it's a minor scale because it has a minor third in it. So if you took the first, third, and fifth notes, it would create a minor chord. But they play it over a major, and it's really cool sounding. Sorry. It's usually played in E. Just so you know, flamenco music originated in northern India and came down. Came down with the gypsies, and they thought the people from northern India were from Egypt, so they called them gypsies. But no, it's northern Indian. And if you hear a real flamenco singer, it's definitely Indian. You can tell right away. Sounds like Derek Trucks on slide guitar, you know, Indian kind of melodies. So, the Phrygian it's a minor scale with a flat second. So instead of going, we go. Then we have another flat second here. And it's really fun to play in E. Sorry, I just woke up. So that is a Phrygian. Just a minor with a flat 2 in it. And that is what flamenco music is played with. So let's find out what its relative major is. We'll play the same notes starting here in C. Well, I can hear that right away. That's a Mixolydian scale, which is a major scale with a flat 7 interval. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead of going 7, 8, it goes flat 7, 8. Now, in the key of C, this is music theory, sorry to dump this on you, but in the key of C, the fifth mode, basically the way modes are made, play all the white keys from C to shining C, you have a major scale. From D to D, you have a Dorian. From E to E, you have a Phrygian. From F to F, you have a Lydian. From G to G, which is the fifth mode, you have a Mixolydian. And that has a flat 7 in it. It's a major scale with a flat 7. And it's called the dominant of those modes. So that's why when they say an A 7th chord is an A dominant chord, it's just a frickin' A 7th chord, but they have to say dominant because of that music theory stuff. So here it is. It goes, and it is a great scale. I use it all the time myself. What it really reminds me of, where I really maybe trace it back to falling in love with it, was Within You Without You by the Beatles. I'll do it in A. That's the sound of a Mixolydian scale. Okay, let's go on. We have only one more mode because we've done the major, which is called Ionian. We've done the minor, which is called Aeolian. We've done the Dorian. We've done the Lydian. We've done the Phrygian. We've done the Mixolydian. The only one that's left is the Locrian. The Locrian is for death metal. It's got the darkest intervals. If you play the major and minor scale, which pretty much have ruled Western music for quite a long time, the only two intervals they don't cover are a flat 2 and a flat 5. Those are two intervals that are in there. It's like taking a Phrygian scale, which we just went over, and throwing a flat 5 into it. So it goes like this: 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, back to 1. And that fast sounds cool, but I want to do it slow. It's a pretty dark scale. Then what really proves it out is when you go to find out what its relative major is. So I'll just play the same note starting here. Hey, wait a second, that's not major. That's minor. That's a regular 6. It's a Dorian. So the Locrian scale is so twisted that its relative major is another minor, which is the Dorian. So I'm not going to make any West Virginia jokes. I won't do that. About relative majors and relative minors. Never mind. So those are the modes. That's all of them. There's only 7 of them. And they each have their place. The Locrian, I'd have to put on a bunch of distortion and do some metal stuff. But it has all the intervals that you're going to hear in music, metal, because it's got all the dark stuff. You know, blood, gristle, skull dust, guts, or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Those are modes. Please leave comments. If I can explain it better, let me know, and I will. And please hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate that very much. That'll keep me going. So thanks for listening, and I hope you got something out of it. And see you next time for more lead guitar stuff. Okay, bye for now. Be safe.